Hello and welcome to Money Sense. Today we're going to go over credit, what it is, how it affects you, and how to improve it. Just a quick couple ways to improve it because that is a deep subject and there are many ways and many opinions on it. But I just want to go over quick two things that for sure will improve it and help it. So, for what a credit score is, it is a three-digit number summarizing your credit risk based on your credit history. So, any loan you have, auto loan, mortgage, any credit card you have, any student loans, all of that will be on your credit, part of your credit score, which, the credit score comes from your credit report. So, all the things listed on your credit report are calculated, and if everything's good, you get a good score, and that's how they make your score. Interesting fact, no one has a credit score of 0. I didn't know that till today. Most scores start at 300, could be 250. The scores range from 250 to 900, depending on which score it is and for what industry. Like banks have separate scores, and the autos industry has its own score. And then, of course, the consumer score that you get from like Credit Karma or Mint or basically any credit card, major credit card has a free credit score attached to it. Like Discover has a credit score as part of your statement. You can look at American Express, Citi, Chase, Wells Fargo. They all have a credit score, and they all differ. So it's not going to be an exact score of what like your exact score is, and that's okay. Just it's mainly just so you have an idea of where you're at. And 9 times out of 10, that score is close enough to your actual score to where you don't have to wonder like, am I going to get a different rate because this score is different? Typically, those scores are close enough to where you can have a good idea of what your credit score is. Um, and we'll go into more detail on like the different scores and all that in another video, but just know that for now. And also Discover. So yeah, okay, yeah, ignore that. And then let me show you how they determine the different categories of your credit score, like if it's good or bad. So you see here, so 300 to 629. This is a general rule of thumb. Discover, I know they have 5 ratings. It goes from, let's see, you can see here, from poor to fair to good to very good to exceptional. And that's Discover's FICO score, credit score that they use, that they show you. So, like I said, this 300, this one right here, is just a general overview of how your score will be seen as. So 300 to 629 is bad. 630 to 689 is fair. That's most people. 690 to 719 is good. And 720 to 850 is excellent. Basically, if you'll want to aim for 800 or above, and you'll get the best rates possible. But this is just a average goal of where you want to be. So if you want to have excellent credit, aim for 720 to 850. And that's a credit score. I took notes this time, so I'm just gonna check my notes real quick. 300. Yeah, and when you apply for credit cards or a loan or any kind of credit, there's 3 different bureaus. So each company pulls from different bureaus. Damn, I gotta remember how to say that. Let's remember how to say that real quick. Bureau. I don't know why it's so hard.
Bureau.
Bureau. Bureau. Okay. So yeah, there's three different bureaus: Experian, TransUnion, and Expedia. No, it's not Expedia. It's TransUnion, Expedia. It's not Expedia. I forgot. Three credit. Experian. Very close. Well, just one word difference. So TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax. Those are the three. And not all. So when you apply for credit, usually whoever like pulls your credit is going to pull from one of those three. And you can search Google to figure out which ones, and I can make a list. But just know, like, you don't know typically which one it'll pull from unless you research. So be sure that all three um, companies show the same score. It's very rare that a company pulls from all three bureaus, but it happens. Um, and yeah, that's a credit score. Yeah, I feel this isn't going very well, but that's okay. I'm just going to keep going because it's late and I have to make a video. So that's what a credit score is. I apologize for the quality in advance. And then how it affects you. So when you apply, when you get your insurance, they look at your credit score as part of it to give you a rate. So basically, the higher your credit score, the better interest rates you get on loans, of course. If you want to get a mortgage, the higher your score, the lower the interest rate. If you need to get a loan or auto loan, you want to get a car, the higher your score, the lower your interest rate will be, the more money you'll save. And you can also get more special financing, or you're more likely to get special financing. That's what I was trying to say. Like 0% for 12 months, or something like that, or like maybe even a sign-up bonus. Well, credit cards, not really sign-up bonuses, the same for everyone. But mainly just interest rates and like 0% APR things on like new cars, or a mortgage. You can get like points and stuff like that. And I can go over different types of loans in a different video. But that's mainly how it affects you. I was supposed to research this, but I know also like your insurance is affected. So when you apply for like home insurance and auto insurance, the better your credit, the cheaper your policy will be. Yeah, how it impacts your life. See, so it's super simple Google search. Yeah, buying a house. Basically, better loans, lower interest rates, jobs. I mean, employers, they do look. That's kind of crazy. I mean, I understand, but if you do a good job, that doesn't necessarily mean you're good with money. Kind of like athletes. It's not about what you make. They make $1 million a year, but they spend 2 million. You're still going to be $1 million in debt. So it's not about how much you make. You need to know how to manage your money, or it doesn't really matter, which is kind of part of credit. Like, you don't want to let credit, bury you. Yeah, renting an apartment, they look at your credit. So if you have bad credit, it'll be harder to get a good apartment. I know my aunt looks at credit reports and histories and things like that to see. Or, like I said, you have to put a bigger security deposit. Loans, car, getting a cell phone. That's almost, I mean, everyone has a cell phone, so that's probably not going to worry too much. Utility companies, they do look. You don't think about it because, I guess usually, especially if you live in an apartment, like you don't really set up that many utilities. But yeah, if you don't have good credit, basically they'll want to deposit, security deposit for anything you need, like internet or lights for sure. If you live at a house and you pay for your own water, they'll want deposits just to make sure you don't not pay them, which can be a burden, especially if you're low on funds, and which is kind of ironic because typically, if you have poor credit, you don't have a lot of funds, which isn't, I don't know if that's typical. I wouldn't say that, but just know that, yeah, if you have bad credit, it just makes life harder. If you've already established yourself, then it's not as bad. I'm working on my credit, and it's not great at the moment, but it's okay, and I planned that, and so most of these things, don't apply to me because I've already got everything I need. I've already had my house for like 3 years now, so all my utilities are good, and they know, and they've seen my history. So I mean, if you're settled and you don't need anything for a few years or you know soon, then bad credit doesn't affect you as much. But just know if your credit's bad and you're trying to like start living on your own or make a big change, it'll make it dramatically harder and much harder to do that if your credit's not good. So be sure to get that taken care of if you're planning anything big or like moving out or moving to a different state or something like that. Um, so yeah, that's how it affects you. Yeah, you don't think about it, but it does a lot. Okay, and now, so if you have fair credit, most people do. First thing, you have to look at your credit report, like we went over the last credit video, I believe, because this score comes directly from that, and I'll show you the breakdown. So this is how they break down your credit report to get your credit score. The payment history is the biggest thing, 35% of your score. So as long as you make payments on time every month, that's the biggest thing. If you have any late payments, and I mean, if it's like a few days late, it's okay. It doesn't go as like bad on your record. It just shows um, paid, late payments that are 30 days or 30 days. You get a mark if it's over. If it's 30 days or over, you'll get a mark on your credit report. And if it's 60 days or over, you'll get another mark. And that's when it gets bad. I mean, you want to pay your bill on time. Auto pay is your friend. Use it. If you don't and it's available, use it. Pay the minimum at the very least so you won't get paid a late charge. Ideally, you want to pay your statement balance. Most major credit cards have that option, and you just yeah, make sure you pay at least the minimum if you can't pay the statement balance, and then the statement balance if you can, and that's the goal. And I'll go over how payments work because it can be it gets a little complicated. Not complicated, but you don't have to pay it. You don't pay your credit card completely off each month because that's not how it works. Basically, like once you open a credit card, you have zero balance, and you don't get your bill right away. You get it in the billing cycle, which is usually 25 to 30 days. So once that time has passed up, you get your bill, and then the following month you have to pay that balance. So you have the first month you get it, you're not charged anything. It's like a free 1 month loan basically. So as long as you pay that loan back in full the first month, then you will not pay any interest or fees, and it's basically free 30-day loan. That's one way to look at it. But again, it's just a 30-day loan. You need to pay it back. You don't want to pay any interest fees, any kind of fee. Just like your bank account, the goal is to pay no fees at all whatsoever, unless it's an annual fee, and that annual fee gives you much greater benefit than what it costs you, which is 99% of the time the annual fee is worth it the first year because of the sign up bonus, and we'll go over that at a later date. But anyway, that's a whole another video, and I'm going to write that down. Payments on cards. Sorry. Yeah, that's going to be a good video because yeah. Anyway, so let's go back to this. So this is the way your score is calculated. Payment history, main thing, pay all your loans, credit cards. If you have a mortgage, pay it on time, pay it on the due date. A couple days is okay. Generally, they'll be cool if you don't pay it right away. Just call them up, say, I forgot, or I had to change cards, or I thought autopay was on, give them a call. And as long as you don't do it every month, they give you one freebie a year for sure. Just call them and be like, it's my first time. If your records, your payment's good, they'll be like, oh, it happens, no big deal. And they'll refund it and you'll be good. And, what was I going to say? Yeah, that's credit cards, loans, water. Like, I didn't pay my water last month because I got my upgraded CRO card. So there was like a week and a half I didn't have that card. I couldn't use that card, and I was still waiting on my new card. And the water didn't get paid, and I called them, and they're like, "Oh, you have a perfect history of paying your bill." So they just credited me the late fee I got. It was like $3, but still $3 is $3. Get your money back. And I got that credited back. So as long as you pay 95% of the time on time, if you mess up, it's cool. It happens all the time to the best of us. Just call and they'll be cool. And be nice, The nicer you are, the better. And I've called multiple times, and sometimes it takes multiple calls. But again, just be nice about it. And as long as you don't do it consistently, 2 or 3 times a year, you're good. But yeah, pay it. And otherwise, auto pay is your friend. Okay, I went way too long on that. Sorry. So payment history is the biggest thing. Boy, I gotta write this down more. Anyway, amounts owed is the second biggest thing, meaning this is like your credit balances, however big your loans are. So if you have like a mortgage, it starts out, like mine started at 100K. Now it's down to 56K. So the 56,000 for loans is what will be calculated in your score. So loans will go down over time, and then once you pay a loan off, your score will drop a little because it's one less. Oh, that's the last part, credit mix. Anyway, but just know once you pay a loan off, your score will drop a little momentarily, but it'll go back up. And it's better to not have that loan and have it paid off than worry about your score dropping a few points. No big deal. But amounts owed, and this is how they calculate your debt to credit ratio, which isn't part of your credit score, but is a factor when you apply for credit, which we'll go over after we finish this. So credit card balances, loan amounts. This is amount owed. Outstanding balances. Length of credit history is the third. This one you can't really do anything about yourself. So basically, the longer you've had a credit card, the better. I think for excellent credit, it has to be 10 years 10 years plus to have this exceptional or excellent in this category. Like I said, you can't really do anything on your own with this. Just that's why it's important to get a credit card or something. Credit card is best. If you're not good with money, get a secured credit card so you can't just spend willy-nilly, or at least get some kind of loan, which is hard to get a loan if you don't have credit. I mean, good credit, you know. But yeah, basically, um, now the hack or workaround for this is if you have someone you can trust that's had credit for a while, like your mom or like an aunt or uncle, or maybe an older brother that's had credit and their credit's good, you can have them add you to one of their credit cards as an authorized user and just tell them you don't want the card, you just want to be on their account so you can get their credit history. So basically, when they add you to their card as an authorized user, typically, I mean, the card company will send a card for you to use, but you don't want to use the card, you just want the payment history. So you tell them, I mean, there's no risk to them if they don't give you the card number, because you can't use it without the card number. And the only risk there is to you, because if they stop making payments or something happens and their credit sucks, then your credit's going to suck with theirs. Like, they'll bring you down if something happens. And the only one who loses anything is you. There's no risk at all involved with them. But it's, you have to make sure you can trust them and know that their credit's good, and that, and it just has to be one credit card. Like, if they have one credit card, they've paid really good, that's really good, they've never missed payment. Like, make sure they don't max it out every month. They pay it every month. Well, every month it's at least 10% or less. Then, okay, that's another video. I'm not gonna stop there. Sorry. I'll make another video on this. Credit history hacks, we'll call it. So just know credit history, 15%. The longer you have it, the better. There are ways around that, and we'll go over that in another video. 10% is new credit. So new credit, that means basically hard inquiries. So like the first video I showed you the hard inquiries, like when you apply for a credit card and they pull your credit, that's a hard inquiry. If you get approved, it's even if you don't get approved, if you get denied, it's still one hard inquiry. If you apply for a loan, if you apply for auto loan, mortgage, if you apply for an apartment, those will go on your credit report as a credit inquiry, hard inquiry. There's soft inquiries that don't affect your credit, and it should say it's a soft inquiry, it won't affect your credit. But just know that. But if it's a hard inquiry, it goes to this 10%, and that's what new credit means. And I showed you all the ones I had on. I'll show you if you want again. Yeah, and that's that. Oh, for this, so one exception to this is if you're applying for like a mortgage or an auto loan, they know you want to shop around for the best price. So like if you applied for, not applied, but I guess applied for like 10 mortgage loans in a certain amount of time, I think it's 30 days, it'll only count as one mark against you. So it'll show the 10, but it'll only calculate it as one, because they know it's, a big loan and you want to get the best rate. So don't start applying for houses until you're ready to get it, because those hard inquiries count against your credit for 2 years. They stay on for 7, but the effect doesn't. The effect is like 70% less after 2 years. So just keep that in mind. And then credit mix 10%. So the more different kind of credit accounts you have, the better. So you'll want like mortgage, auto loan, credit cards. Um, those are the three. I'm trying to think. Personal loan or like a personal loan, business loan. Those are all good things to have to help your credit. So it's good to have different kind of loans. I mean, don't get a loan just to improve your credit if you don't need a loan, because most loans, you got to pay interest and the fees. You don't get a loan just to improve your score 10 points. That's not worth it. Just focus on getting credit cards and using credit cards to build your score once you've, got something established. And so that's how it's calculated. So that's good to know. And then the last part of this video, because it's already been like 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 26 minutes. Wow. Okay, if you're still here, thank you. You're a trooper. It feels like it's not been that long. Anywho, the last part is two quick, easy ways to raise your credit score if it's not where you want it to be. Let's see. So the easiest way is, if it's not good, if it's not where you want it to be, is if you have missed payments or late payments of any kind, basically start making payments on time. Make sure you check autopay, you use autopay, and that you have the history there to pay it. Because if you have autopay but there's no funds, they more than likely will charge you a fee for not having funds on the credit card and a return payment fee, and that's not fun. And again, if it happens once or twice a year, they'll refund it. But if you do it every other month, then yeah, they'll stop doing it really quick. So yeah, just be sure to do auto pay and be sure that you have the funds available to pay it. If you don't like that idea that you might not have the funds, don't do auto pay, but be sure that you set an alarm on your phone or something to remind you that the bill's due and that you pay it by the due date. So that's the easiest thing. If you have missed payments, pay them, because that's the biggest part of your credit score. And that's for all loans, credit cards, anything you owe money on. And then, and there's a return hack. So if it's been a hard month, you can buy an item and return it, and when you return it, it counts as a payment. And I've done that, and I mean, it's good if something happened. It's not a way to avoid paying your credit card. And I don't know, a guy at Sam's said once it was fraud, and I was like, no, I'm just returning items I bought. That's, there's nothing illegal about it. You're just returning an item. Just, you don't want to rely on that. If you have to return items to pay your bill, then you need to reevaluate your bills, and like I did, you need to reevaluate and stop using that card or make more money, but probably best to just stop using the card. Anyway, that's another video too. But just know there's things you can do to help with that. And that's the main thing, is pay your bills on time to improve your credit score. And the second thing, if you have payments is good on time, like you have perfect payment history, next thing to do would be to get the amounts owed down. So if you carry a large balance on your credit card and I mean, if you don't pay it in full each month, that's gonna hurt your credit score. Because basically, if you have a credit card with $1,000 balance and you only pay down 30%, that's for a normal, like good credit score would be 30% or less on your credit card. So if you had $700 balance, when your statement closes and that's what's reported to the bureaus, then that would make your score, average, because that's the second biggest part after payments. Payments, that's the easiest thing to do for sure and biggest thing, so that's good. But then the second thing is amounts owed. So that means, the higher your credit balance is, the lower your score will be when the cards report to the bureaus, which is when they close. And yeah, that's another video too, because this is already 31 minutes. How the hell? So, yeah, wow, this is crazy. It was supposed to be like 5 minutes, my man. Sorry. I'm still going to post this, and I'll probably do another one that's shorter. I'm not going to edit this at all. It's too late. Anyway, so yeah, payment history, make sure they're paid is number one, and just pay down your balances on number two. And I'll go into detail on that because that's going to be at least 10 minutes if I can consolidate everything and not ramble on like I tend to do. And yeah, I'm going to end with that. So payment history, if you have large balances on your credit card, pay them down if you can. Those are the two biggest and easiest ways to improve your credit. And we'll leave it at that. Aim for having 10% utilization on your cards at all time. If you want excellent credit, 10% or less is the goal to have on your credit cards when the statement closes. And I'll explain that in another video. All right, I'm out. Have a good one. And yeah, my goal is to do 2 videos a week, every Thursday and Saturday or Sunday. All right, that's it. Peace out.